So the Christian Wilkins injury from last season, right? Barely got to play. The like 4.5 games, 3.5 games he was healthy. Like the defense was noticeably different.
Freaking noticeably different.
Noticeably different. So obviously losing him sucks. We were excited to get him back. Malcolm Kuntz is back. Maxx Crosby's back. The whole defensive line's coming back from injury. So hopefully everyone gets better. Christian Wilkins was the one raising eyebrows because he was in a walking boot, then he was out of a walking boot, then he was in a walking boot again. And when there's ever a step back, it's always concerning to varying degrees. Always you're kind of, it's not going the way it's supposed to. And it's a Jones fracture in the foot. Can be complicated. My light WebMDing, 3 minutes of that says, it's 4 to 6 weeks and it's a bone and it heals, but it's a foot and can be a little complicated.
Oh,
and we saw
up in there. Just make it funky, dude.
Yeah, it's like the hand. It's like anything that's shoulder, anything that's really complicated. A lot of moving parts.
Our hands. That's the thing. You're constantly putting so much pressure on it. It's like anything that goes not exactly right with your foot, it's just gonna stay so screwed up unless you go in and fix it right away.
And you know how dainty NFL linemen are, where they're just not putting a lot of weight on
it's like 340 pounds
appendages, right? So we've been paying attention, and there were reports that he was at not OTAs, but one of the voluntary workouts, and he was walking around fine, doing at the facility. He said he was fine. Tashawn Reed reported that a source within the Raiders says everything's going fine, whatever, and then we saw in a walking boot again. So at the presser today, we're recording this Wednesday, Pete Carroll was asked about Christian Wilkins' status.
Working hard, but we're still working it, and he's not ready to get back out. And we're in the midst of a long, challenging process here. So, fortunately, there's a lot of time, and we're going to take every bit of it. We've really tried to be really diligent about the way we've worked it and the way we've monitored it and all of that. And he's been on board the whole time. So, but it has been challenging.
So, on a level of 1 being, totally fine, this is just a minor injury, we'll be okay, and 10, where it's like season's over, defense is shot, where do you stand, Soto?
Probably a 6, because he's still saying that there's still time. So he's acknowledging the fact, if you want to kind of like decipher this, he's acknowledging the fact that he's not ready, that he still needs to fix it. And technically there's still time for him right now to have surgery again and heal, and maybe miss a couple of weeks of the season with, rehab and ramping back up to cardio and getting in shape. So the issue that I have is if I forgot what it's called, but basically it's like compartment syndrome for your foot, where the swelling, I forgot what it's called, but that's really dangerous. It's like a muscular thing where the muscles get really inflamed whenever you put any pressure on it. And that's
Bigfoot
just
syndrome,
something like that.
Yeah.
And that's very dangerous because it messes with circulation and it kind of starts messing with the nerve endings and stuff like that. So once you start screwing with stuff like that, then you're going to have problems, like long-term problems. But if it's something that can be fixed, which sounds like it's something that they're maybe leaning into doing another surgery, I would do it right away. Just because if the first one didn't take properly and you have to redo it, then you're better off doing it as soon as possible.
This sucks because, let's say best case scenario, absolute best case scenario, he misses a ton of camp. Like even if he's healthy week 1 and suits up and plays every down, he's not going to be quite as good a shape. He's not going to be getting the reps. He's not going to be, he's played 3.5 games with the Raiders. He's a second-year guy here, but he's barely starting to build that, synergy with teammates and all that shit. So this really sucks. And like the complications of this blow. And we saw, like we mentioned at the top of the segment, defense was noticeably different with Christian Wilkins in there. It's like we always talk about the chain reaction of someone next to Maxx means you can't triple team Maxx every play. And that means on the other end, those guys are available. And that means pressure on the quarterback means our dime store linebackers and unproven DBs, they have more time, more flexibility. This defense is going to be built around the defensive line, and losing at worst, our third best defensive lineman, probably second best defensive lineman, has a chain reaction that makes my butthole pucker.
It's a shame, man. It's that pressure, that attention that he commands. It really was going to ease a little bit of the attention on the other players. Now we have to hope that Adam Butler continues the ascend. You know, he really stepped up. I was very pleased with his play last season when he was called upon, and hopefully these young guys, these young kids are quick, man. These two guys, Hemingway and Pegues, they're really quick. They're not as big and as disruptive physically as Christian Wilkins is, but they are disruptive in a different way because they get into the backfield a lot. And,
did you just say ascend instead of ascend?
Yes, I was waiting for you to pick that up.
I was waiting for you. I didn't want to interrupt you because you're on a roll, but I did want to comment.
I said, yeah, I did say that. So
that sounds like what Sean Connery would say in Celebrity Jeopardy on SNL. The penis mightier. I'll take ass end for 200, please. I maybe forget my train of thought. That's why I tried to wait. You're on a diatribe. I didn't want to interrupt, but I had to dive in before people forgot about it.
If we have to put in, Tonka and JJ in there for a little bit and rotate them around, I think that they're not going to be a Christian Wilkins, but they still have the ability to cause a little damage in the backfield, because that's basically their game. They're not stack and shed guys. That's not what they do. That's Christian Wilkins he's quick, but he also has that strength where he can stack and shed. That's not Tonka and Pegues. They're slashers. They get into the backfield, and they're not really much for a secondary move. If they're stopped initially, they're pretty much stopped for the play. But they're high in motor, they're high energy. So hopefully we can work with that.
Yeah, it sucks that there's immediately a dark cloud over the remaining part of this offseason, because the big stories were Tom Brady's first season as owner, Pete Carroll's first season as coach, Chip Kelly's first season as OC, how's Ashton Genty going to do, Geno Smith. Like, these are all these cool stories, but the number one story now in training camp is Christian Wilkins' health. It's not the fun one, but it's the number one thing I'm paying attention to, is when can that guy get in there, and how good is he going to be when he finally does.
Hey, you made it to the end of our video. Great job. I know you want more. Go ahead and click the next video. And if you're feeling crazy, go ahead and subscribe.